but you're here now. So that's all that matters. And we still have plenty of time to practice. So I want you to imagine that as you're led there, you're not on a hard yoga mat, but instead you're on really soft sand. So you're able to kind of wriggle your body into the sand and settle a bit deeper into the mat. So settle a bit deeper into the space beneath your body. Really try and relax and let go as you weight the body down into the ground. And just start taking a few big deep breaths. Just notice the movement into the chest, the expansion, and the space you can create with the breath. Any distractions, any disturbances, any irritations, I want you to park those to the side for the next hour, for the rest of our practice, and just be really, really present. You've already decided to be here, you've given up the time to practice, so make sure you get the most out of the class. A few more deep breaths. And then from that position, lying on your back, I want you to reach your arms overhead, interlace the fingers, stretch them back behind you. So stretch the heels of the hands away, point the toes, create a really long line through the body. And then pull the knees in, give your knees a squeeze into the chest. Look up towards the sky and then look in towards the belly button. Rock up through a seated position. Cross the legs, take your hands forwards and step back into downward facing dog. Just get comfortable in your downward facing dog. That's a V shape. So you're pushing the hips up to the sky, stretching the heels back down. Relax the head, push the hands into the floor. So this evening's practice is going to be quite an open level, steady practice. I'll give you the chance to push things a little bit harder if you like, and I'll also give you plenty of opportunity to take rest if anything feels too much or anything feels too strong. So just rock your head from side to side. The first thing I want you to do is make sure you're not clenching the jaw. So make sure you're not gripping the tongue to the roof of the mouth, or you're not holding the jaw shut tight. I need to be soft in the jaw. And then from here, pull the navel to spine. Come forwards into a plank position, shoulders over your wrists. Then create a strong line. So pull the navel into the spine. Make sure the thighs are strong and engaged. And then take it back into downward facing dog. So back into that V shape. Stretch out the backs of the legs. Each time you come back here, you should be able to push the heels a bit deeper into the ground and lift the hips a bit higher towards the ceiling. We'll take 2 more times. Bring it forwards, hold that plank position. And then take it back. Stretch into downward facing dog. Last one, bring it forwards, shoulders over wrists, waist in, and take it back, downward facing dog. Look to the ground, just rest your knees down. Point the toes back behind you. Inhale, send the chest forward, send the gaze forwards, and really try and pull your shoulders down the back. So we arch through the back of the body. I want you to round as you exhale, pull the chin into the chest, really stretch the back of the shoulders. So we're opening through the spinal column, trying to make some space, create some movement. Inhale, look forwards, open the chest. Exhale, navel to spine, round through the back. Inhale, take it forwards, look forwards with your breath, so don't rush the movement. Exhale, pull the waist in, see how much you can spread the shoulders wide. Inhale. So don't want to just Drop and move through the middle of the back. I want you to take it all the way up to the neck and all the way down to the tailbone. Curl through the spine. You're going to take one more. So make this your biggest stretch forwards, sending the chest between the biceps. And exhale, round through the spine. Now stay there, rounding through the back. Really connect and draw your navel in. Take big rotations through the spine. So you're drawing big circles. You can let the elbows bend. Big rotations all the way through the back. So you're trying to move as much as you can. The more movement, then the less stress on areas that are tight or they're restricted. So we want to create as much space as we can. And those circles don't have to be uniform. You can kind of wriggle around in any which way that suits you, any way that feels good. Hold it at the top and we'll change direction. So just start going the opposite way, exploring how much of a stretch you can create into the rib cage, into the side of the waist. Big full rotations. And take one more. And then come to that arched position through the spine. So here you're able to pull the waist in. I want you to feel this inward draw through the abdominals. Tuck your toes and lift your knees just an inch or so off the ground. So here we're strengthening through the front of the body. We're able to push down into the hands. Feel support in through the waist. Lift your hips back and up. Stretch your hips to the sky. Stretch your heels away. Downward facing dog. So lifting back and up through the hips. I want you to imagine you're wearing trousers that have a belt loop and someone's actually pulling that belt loop up towards the ceiling. That's what's helping the back open and stretch. It's helping through the back of the leg. Inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. So stretch that right leg behind you. Keep reaching the right leg up. At the same time, keep pushing your left heel down. So push the left heel down, lift the right leg. Bring the right knee into the chest, nice and close into the body. Can you bring the thigh to almost touch the chest? And then step that right foot forwards. Now, for some of you, it'll step all the way. For others, it'll come halfway up the mat. Take your right hand, lift it forwards. Rest your back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. So you keep lifting through the chest, staying in that low lunge position. Breathe in. Breathe out. Soften the shoulders, relax through the shoulders, relax through the body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, you're trying to move that left hip further forwards and down. So each time you inhale, there's a lift up. We take some pressure away from the back. And then each time we exhale, that left hip moves forwards. Go one more in. Exhale out. Take both hands down to the ground. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Lift through those right fingertips. Stretch up to the ceiling. And then take your right hand like you're sliding it into a pocket on the back of your trousers and pull that right elbow and the right shoulder back. So there's a real lift through the chest. You can really open across the collarbones. Feel a twist all the way through the spine. Sweep that right arm up to the sky. Take the right hand down to the ground, step back into downward facing dog. Hips high, heels stretch away. Other side. Inhale as you sweep the left leg up and back, lifting the left leg to the sky, pushing that right heel down as you do so, lifting back, pushing down, and then bring the left knee into the chest. Step that left foot forwards. If you need the help of the left hand, carry the left foot forwards. Rest your right knee down and inhale, sweep the arms up. So thinking a bit more about the breath on this side. Inhale, I want you to imagine someone lifting up your rib cage. Exhale, move into that right thigh. Inhale, someone's lifting up your rib cage. Exhale, move forwards. Take two more breaths. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take both hands down, right hand to the ground. Reach your left arm up to the sky. So lift through those left fingertips. Just notice if you're resting the head, if you're kind of slumping around that right shoulder, I want you to create some space around the shoulder there. So lift up. Take that left hand to an imaginary pocket on the back of the left hip, and then pull your elbow back, pull your shoulder back, lift through your chest. Breathe in and breathe out. One. Inhale. Open more on the exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Reach that left arm back up to the sky. Take your left hand down to the ground. Step back into downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. Roll forwards to your plank position. So your shoulders stacked over your wrists. Now keep the body in a straight line. So as you bend the elbows in towards the waist, the whole body lowers down at the same time. Don't drop the chest. Don't drop the knees. Take it all the way down. Toes point. Shoulders draw back. Squeeze together. Feel the chest lift. Feel the shoulders pull down. Exhale, lower the chest. Take two more, and I want you to really feel it in the shoulders. So inhale, draw the shoulders back. Squeeze them together. Exhale, let it go. Last one. Inhale, draw back. Shoulders squeeze. Exhale. Hands to the ground, toes tuck. Bend your knees, take it back into downward facing. Lifting your hips up to the sky. Again, finding that V shape. Just glance to your hands. Make sure all 10 fingertips and all 10 knuckles are pushing down into the floor. So make sure you're not letting that first finger lift. Spread the weight through the hands. Reach your right leg up to the sky. This time you can bend your right knee and let the right hip open to the right side of the room. So feel that length down the inside of the left leg through the front of the right thigh. Then pull the right knee into the chest, using the help of the right hand if you need to. Rise up, high lunge. Reach your arms up to the sky, so trying to lift and lengthen through both sides of the waist. The more you push into those back toes, the more stretch through that left hip, the more we release into the hip flexors. So just draw the shoulders away from the ears ever so slightly so they're not squashing the neck. There's no unnecessary tension or compression there. At the back of the neck, be neutral, so don't look up to the ceiling. You want to imagine there's no crease lines on the back of the neck, so you don't want to add any crease lines or compression. One more breath here. Then take your right arm forwards, left arm back, warrior two. So the left toes turn out to the side, and there's a deep bend in that right knee. So that's the challenge. I want you to sit into that right knee, sit into that right thigh. Keep your shoulders over your hips so you're not leaning too far forwards, but there's this nice rectangle through the center of the body. Take your left hand behind the back, so just rest your left hand behind the back. Flip your right palm to face the ceiling and reach that right arm as high as you can, lifting up through the right side of the body. Take one more breath here, and then exhale, windmill both hands down to the ground, take them all the way to the floor. Rest your left knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lift up, hands into a prayer position. And then as you exhale, keep the hands in prayer. Take your left elbow outside of the right thigh, Push in to the right thigh and lift your chest. So you're twisting, facing the right side of the room, opening through the chest, spiraling the rib cage up towards the ceiling. You can draw the navel in as you take a big breath. And then twist more on the exhale. Draw the navel in, take a big breath. Twist more on the exhale. And then come back to the center. Look down to the top of your mat. Take both hands inside of your right foot. Now you can stay with that back knee on the floor. Just relax the back of the head. Relax through the shoulders. So again, this idea of creasing through the back of the neck. And if you've been holding the breath, as things got more physical, I want you to remember to take nice big deep breaths. The same breaths that you found at the start of the practice when you were led on your back. I want you to imagine the weight of the hips melting forward. So for some of you, you might be back here, that's okay. You're just slowly starting to bring the hips forwards. We can release off the hips, then we take some pressure off the lower back and off the hamstrings. For a little bit deeper, a more active opening, you can tuck the left toes and lift that left knee off the ground. Find some extension through that left leg. And then even further still, you might come down to forearms. So now we're a bit lower, deeper opening into that left thigh, into that left hip. Relaxing through the shoulders, maintaining a big deep breath. One more inhale. And exhale, come back to the hands. Keep that left leg where it is if the knee is lifted. If the knee isn't lifted, then bring it off the ground. Step your right leg back, find a plank position. Spread your feet a little wider than hip width. So you've got a bit more space between the feet. Rock both heels to the right, toes to the left, and reach your left arm up to the sky. So trying to create space between the right hip and the ground. So try not to let that right hip drop. Use the waist and pull up through that bottom hip, lifting out through the left fingertip. And then bring the left hand down. Downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Heels stretch away. If you're new to the practice, bend the knees and soften the knees. Don't worry about forcing the legs straight. Concentrate on pushing into the hands and trying to lengthen through the lower back. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Breathe deep. Exhale, 2. One more breath. And 3. Reach your left leg up to the sky, high behind you, lift it up. Same sequence on the left side. So bend your left knee, open that left hip. Stretch through the inside of the right leg. So if your trousers have a seam on the inside, it's that inward seam all the way down the right inner thigh. It's going to feel the stretch. Bring the left knee in. Might stop halfway. You might need to use the hand to bring it forwards. Rise up, high lunge. Lift the arms to the sky. Steady the breath. If you find you're really wobbling, if your balance is really tricky here, just glance at the feet. Make sure you're not on one straight line. So make sure you're not on a tightrope, but instead the feet have got a bit of space between them. Pull navel to spine. Lengthen through the side of the body. So find a lift through the waist. Stretch the back heel. So stretch that right heel away. Feel the right thigh open even more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Warrior 2. Left arm forwards, right arm back. Right toes turn out to the side of the room. Now sit into that left thigh. So challenge yourself to find a depth in that left thigh. a depth you can hold, but a depth that challenges you. Pull navel in, lengthen the spine. Take your right hand behind the back, flip your left palm to face the ceiling, reach that left arm up. So how much space can you create from the left hip to the fingertips? And then exhale, take your hands all the way down to the ground. Rest your right knee to the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up. So there's an opening through that right hip. Hands in prayer. Twist the right elbow outside of the left knee, outside of the left thigh, and then drive down into the right tricep. Lift through the chest. Breathe in and out. If you want to use the breath, pull the navel to the spine on the inhale. Twist more on the exhale. Navel to spine on the inhale. Twist on the exhale. Look down. Take both hands inside of the left foot. Stay there to start the stretch. And today that might be where you stay. Think about where you went to on the other side. Just, you don't need to be looking forwards. This brings loads of tension into the back of the neck. So just let your head hang heavy. If you want a more active release through that right hip, then tuck your right toes. Lift the back knee off the floor. That's your second option. And your third option would be to bring it down to the forearms so that the stretch becomes even more intense through that right thigh. Breathing, lengthening the breath. So just make sure you don't hold the breath. Whatever you do, the breath is your foundation through the practice. And we just build movement on top of the breath. Then rest your back knee down. Lift up to your hands. Take your left knee next to your right knee. Place the hands to the floor. Tuck the toes. Lift to your plank position. And then this time your heels rock to the left. Your toes rock to the right. Reach your right arm up. So lift the left side of your waist. Try not to let that left side drop. Instead, keep lifting. We're trying to make more space beneath the body. Take your right hand down. Stretch into downward facing dog. And then rest your knees to the width of your mat. So nice and wide. Point the toes back and stretch into a child's pose. So you're resting the forehead to the floor. If you're new to the practice and it's too deep to take the forehead all the way down, make two fists, stack them on top of one another and rest your forehead. Soften across the back of the shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to stay there, take a few deep breaths. Trying to stretch the hips back towards the heels. Trying to lengthen through the spine. And try and make some more space between the shoulders as well. 2 more big breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Push down into the hands. Rise up, find all fours. Before we tuck the toes and lift the knees, this time I want you to leave the toes pointing back behind you. You're going to really pull in through the lowest abdominals, so strengthen the lowest abdominals. Now push into the top of your feet and just lift the knees off the ground. So it's the same principle. We're strengthening through the front of the body. It's just a little bit more intense. So balancing on the front of the feet. Hold it for 3. Keep breathing for 2. And on 1, rest the knees down. Tuck the toes, stretch back into downward facing dog. So lift your hips up to the sky. Really stretch through the waist. Rock your hips from side to side. Just rock from left to right. And then walk your feet in, bring them towards the hands. Bend your knees so much that you can actually rest your body on the thighs. So I don't want you to be here with loads of space. I want you to bend the knees and rest your upper body. Cradle the elbows, so hold on to opposite elbows. And just bob back and forth. Let that momentum draw the upper body further down. You can think about what I said before about having a belt loop on the back of your trousers. Maybe someone's lifting that belt loop towards the ceiling. As they do so, you're going to feel the hamstrings lengthen. You're going to feel the calf stretch. You're going to feel the weight shift into the front of the feet. Now let the arms go. So let go of the elbows. Pull the navel to spine. Push your feet to the floor and slowly round up. So take your time, no rush. Curl up through the spine. So think of a slinky, slowly rolling up. The waist is pulling in as you slowly roll up. Arms reach up to the sky. Inhale. Interlace the fingers, grow a bit taller. And then exhale, take a side bend over to the right. Reach your hands over and away. Try and push your hips to that left side. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, take your hands to the left. This time, encourage your hips that way to the right. So reaching over as much as you can. Inhale, back to center. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers and draw them back behind you. So open the chest. I'm going to come sideways so you can see what I don't want you to do. So I don't want you to just stick the hips and the belly forwards. I want you to try and keep the body in a straight line, but just reach your hands back behind you. So you open the chest. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath. Exhale, bend the knees, fold the body down, keep reaching your hands back. Stretch the knuckles to the sky. Let the body bend forwards. Relax. Lift the hips. See if you can trust yourself to take the weight into the toes. And then slowly release the hands carefully. Don't fling the hands apart. Let them fold down. And carefully roll up through the spine. Waist draws in. Hands to the hips. Whichever side allows you to see me, but I'm going to take a big step back with my left leg and turn your right toes in. As long as you can still see, then it makes sense to go in that direction. So toes turn in, hands to your hips. Have your thumbs behind your back and your fingers in front of the hips. Tilt from the hips. So just start leaning forwards and you'll get to a place, at the moment my back is straight, you'll get to a place where there feels like there's too much tension to hold the back straight. When you get there, I want you to bend the knees and let the body fold forward. So relax the upper body so that you're not holding any tension through the spine. You're not holding any stress around the shoulders. The knees are comfortably bent. Take your hands, reach for the backs of the ankles, pull your elbows out to the side, and draw your chin into the chest. Pull your body further forwards. So you're pulling the backs of the ankles, moving the elbows out to the side, lifting your hips, lengthening through the spine, drawing the chin into the chest. Take an inhale and an exhale. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then carefully let the arms release down in front of you. Take the hands to the mat. So just lift your chest slightly so you can push the hands into the floor. Keep the legs wide. Reach your arms as far away from you as you can. So you're stretching the arms in front of you. So it's like the downward dog shape, but we have a wide stance. So there's more inner thigh stretch, more chance to lengthen through the shoulders and through the waist. Take a breath here. And then exhale, walk the hands back in. Roll up through the spine. Take your time. Slowly, carefully come up. And then take your right toes forwards. Bend into your right knee. Rest your right elbow down. Sweep your left arm up and over. And then carry on the reach of that left arm. Draw a big full circle. So take one more. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, stretch it forward. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, stretch it forwards. On the last one, you're just going to reach it up and away. So stretching those left fingertips out beyond the top of the mat. That's option one. Option two, if you want more of a challenge through the waist, lift your right elbow off the right thigh and stretch it out to the side of the room. So reach it in front of you. Pull the navel to spine. A challenge to hold yourself there and balance. Bring it back to warrior two, arms out wide. Straighten your right leg. Turn the right toes in, turn your left toes out. Bend into the left knee. Rest your left elbow. Right arm up to the sky. Draw a big circle. All the way up. Draw a full circle. Last two. So opening through the chest and the side of the body. Last one, hold it there, reaching away. Stay here or reach that left arm out. So there's a challenge to hold the waist. You're not able to just rest the weight through that left elbow. And then stretch the arms out wide. Straighten your left leg. Turn the left toes in and slowly bring the feet together. So all the way in. Just stand with them about hip width apart. Relax the arms down by the side. Close the eyes. And just settle the breath for a moment. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. If you've been holding the breath at any time, bring it back. So big, deep breath. You can, in fact, take your hands to the side of the rib cage, so just above the belly and out to the side. Inhale, as you breathe in, feel the ribs push into the hands. And as you exhale, push the ribs back down and in. Inhale, feel that outward expansion. Exhale, back down and in. 3 more times. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, push down. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, push down. Last one, out to the side. And push down. Relax the arms to the side, eyes closed. Lift the crown of the head a bit higher. So imagine there's a piece of string pulling out through the crown of the head, and that's just going to lift a little bit taller. Bring your hands into a prayer in the center of the chest. Bring your right knee into the chest. So lift that right knee in. Now just check you're not leaning back, you're not arching into the back. I want you to keep the shoulders over the hips. And then lean your body forwards and kick that right leg back behind you. So leaning forwards, stretch the right heel back. Lift your right heel a little higher. So you're balancing on that left leg. Lots of work through the left ankle, the left knee. Strength and support around the left hip. Pull the waist in, protect the lower back. And then step the right foot next to the left foot. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Squeeze your glutes, push your hips forwards and let the upper body arch back. So take a slight back bend. And then hands come back to prayer, heart center. Lift the left knee into the chest. Steady yourself. So first of all, just check you're not leaning back. Keep the chest forward. And then kick that left leg back, lean the body forward. If you wobble, don't worry about it, just come back in. Doesn't matter how many times you wobble. And some days you'll go for weeks when your balance is fine, your balance is great. And then other times you'll go for weeks when it isn't great. So it comes and goes. Don't fret. Bring both feet together. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And then keep reaching the arms up, bend the knees, squeeze the inner thighs together. So strengthen through the inner thighs. Stay low. Someone's just obviously come out and needs to come back in. So stay in that seat. Be feeling it now. And then forward fold all the way down. Knees are bent, nice and soft. Wrap your arms around the backs of the thighs. Pull your chin into the chest and fold the body forwards. Relax the body into that forward fold. Lift your hips. And then a little challenge for you. Bring the hands out in front of you. See if you can bend the knees and sit down without using the hands. Doesn't matter if you fall. No one's watching. Feet together, knees out wide. Create quite a wide diamond shape, so don't pull it in too tight. Give yourself some space. Hold on to the front of the ankles. Lift your chest, so lift really tall through the front of the body. And then I want you to pull yourself forwards as far as you can. Stretch the chest forwards. Reach your arms out, so start by lengthening through the arms. Rock side to side a little, and that'll just help you find some more space into the side of the waist and the side of the rib cage. And then you might need to bring the hands back a bit so you can rest the forearms. I want you to be able to relax through the arms. Imagine someone is behind you and they're pushing both of their hands on your inner thighs. So they're trying to push your thighs out to the side. My hips are very open, but don't worry if your knees are up here. You still work on the same thing. You just have more room for improvement, so you have more of a chance to improve and work the knees out to the side. Make sure the gaze isn't forward, so you're not adding stress to the neck. Take an inhale and an exhale. One more breath. And slowly walk yourself all the way up. Bring it up to a seat and just bring your knees to face the ceiling, plant your feet to the floor. Now hold on to the shins, lift yourself up. So I've got a really tall spine at the moment and I'm sat right on my seat bones. Then I want to curl into my back and come onto the tailbone. So come onto that tailbone at the bottom of the spine and onto your tiptoes. So I'm not pushing weight down through the feet. I'm just on the tips of my toes and I'm curling through the spine. So I've really got to pull my waist in to support me there. Take your hands out in front of you. Now keep the torso super still. Inhale, take your left arm out as wide as you can. So find that balance to hold it there. Exhale, bring it back. Keep the navel pulling into spine. Inhale, stretch your right arm out. Exhale, bring it back. So great exercise to strengthen the core and prevent that twist injury motion. Inhale. Exhale. Everyone knows someone who has like just reached and twisted, putting on a shoe, or picking something up, and then they've thrown their back out. So we're trying to prevent that, trying to strengthen in a rotational way. Next time you take the arm out to the right side, that's going to be your last one. Bring it back to center. Rest the feet, turn the palms so they face down. Now as slowly as you can, curl down through the spine. Tuck your tailbone, pull your navel in, roll down slow, 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 all the way down. Arms overhead. Interlace the hands, stretch your hands back, point the toes, take a full body stretch. And then bring the right knee into the chest. Give that right knee a hug and just rock your right knee side to side. Try your best to relax through the shoulders. As you're rocking that right hip, not only you opening the lower back, but you're compressing nicely into the ascending colon, massaging that right side of the stomach. Now take your right arm out. Heavy, so that right arm is going to stay glued down to the floor as you pull that right knee all the way across the body over to the left. So we get a full twist through the spine. The more you can sink your right shoulder down into the ground, the more of a stretch, the more of a twist. You need to let the back of the head be heavy. So try not to lift through the head and the shoulders. Stay almost weighted into the ground. And then slowly bring it back. Give that right knee one squeeze into the chest and then swap. But before you lift the left knee in, just notice the difference between both sides and then bring it to the left. Hug that knee into the chest. Rock from left to right, right to left. Massaging that left side and also releasing the back of the hip. And then left arm out to the side. Glue the left arm down. Bring the left knee across the body to the right. Full twist. So releasing the left side of the lower back. Stretching around the left hip. You want to take the twist all the way up into the neck. You can gaze to the left fingers as well. Steady. And bring it back. Place both feet down to the floor. So you'll have to bend the knees, walk the feet in to the back of the hips. Take your arms down by your side. Push into your hands and push into your shoulder blades. So feel the chest lift a little to the ceiling. Pull the navel in, lift your hips up to the sky. So you're pushing the hips up to the sky, push your feet down to the floor. Make sure the toes aren't tempted to lift. So push all 10 toes down into the ground as well. Notice that becomes stronger, more connection through the hamstrings and the backs of the legs, the glutes. And then slowly roll it down, curling through the spine. Walk your feet to the sides of the mat, so take them outwards and then let your knees rest inwards so the knees touch. Place the hands on the belly. And we're going to take a few moments here with the knees coming in. A nice opportunity to stretch and open around the lower back, particularly the sacrum and the back of the hips. Do a lot of opening through the front of the hips in yoga, but not a lot through the back. So just lie here in stillness. If it's not comfortable for you, then stretch your legs out long. If you'd rather lie with the legs stretched out, then please do stretch the legs out. Just going to take rest. Appreciate a few moments of stillness, of silence. Not very often that we put any time aside to just lie completely still. And often we hold on to a lot of tension and stress, and that just worsens any small niggles, any problems that we have, any aches or pains. So as much as the movement is beneficial, so is the stillness. Become in tune with the breath. And if you're new to practice, it might be the first time you've really slowed down and listened to your breath. Maybe you can even gently hear your heartbeat. Kind of tap into the rhythm of that, so that it almost becomes soothing. Fully relaxed, physically feeling relaxed, feeling heavy, feeling very supported by the mat. Also mentally feeling a sense of lightness, maybe of clarity, of calm. I want you to imagine you've got a little round dial, and that's a dial for the volume of your breath, and you're just going to turn that volume up slightly on the breath so that it becomes louder, more audible, becomes energizing, wakes the body back up. If your legs are outstretched, you can leave them outstretched. If your knees are bent, just take a moment to extend and stretch the legs out. Wriggle your fingers and wriggle your toes. So you're lying on your back, just moving your fingers and your toes. And then I want you to roll some circles into the wrists, maybe point and flex through the feet a couple of times. And then take a full body stretch, arms overhead, interlace your fingers, stretch the heels of the hands back. So take a really long stretch, your biggest, longest full body stretch. And then hug the knees into the chest. So you're lying on your back, pull the knees in and create this really small ball. So squash everything in, hug everything in. And then try not to be tempted to open the eyes. I just want you to come up and find a comfortable seat. So cross the legs or sit with the legs out, whatever is most comfortable for you. Just taking a few breaths to close out the practice. Notice the absence of expression or tension across the face. Notice the space across the shoulders. Notice the length through the spine. And together, reach your arms up to the sky. So lift really tall, reach up to the ceiling, to the sky. And then bring the hands into prayer heart center. Bow your chin into the chest. So you're just thanking yourself for giving up time this evening to practice. Thank you for your patience at the start of class. For those of you who, for some reason, the link wasn't working, I do apologize. I apologize more to the people that aren't here because their link wasn't working, but I will apologize to them afterwards.